Miguel, César, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias for Populi Executive Forum, Minister, señores and señores. It's a real pleasure to be here speaking alongside Lord Price, the sixth British minister to visit Spain in less than 2 weeks, which is testimony not just to the attractions of Spain in this festive season, but also a measure of the importance that we attach to our bilateral relationship with Spain and our eagerness to work alongside the new Spanish government. And it's an honour too to speak alongside Inigo. Ferrovial is one of those hundreds of Spanish companies who have made Britain their home. One of those hundreds of Spanish companies who have made the UK the #1 destination for Spanish overseas investment in Europe. But Ferrovial isn't any old investor. It's a company whose investment in Heathrow has made that airport the world's favourite airport, and whose third runway will make London ever more connected to our globalised world, whose contracts for our new high-speed rail line, HS2, will transform railway capacity between London, the Midlands and the North, and whose services business, Amy, has transformed the quality of public services up and down our United Kingdom. Ferrovial is one particular success story, but many other companies present in this room today are part of that wider story of success of a commercial relationship that is worth more than 45 billion euros a year, of British investments here in Spain that are now the third largest of any country in the world, creating 160,000 jobs across this country and totaling 66 billion euros since 1993. And our exporters are dependent upon each other's markets. For instance, in just a few days' time, many families across our United Kingdom will drive across the country in Spanish-made cars because 3 out of our 10 most popular models in the UK are made here, in Aragon and Navarra, and they will sit down for Christmas dinner where they will enjoy a glass of Rioja or Ribera, depending upon their tastes, with their roast turkey, and eat clementines from Valencia or mince pies flavoured with sherry from Jerez for dessert. And of course, here in Spain, we hope that many people in this room will be aided in digesting their own Christmas dinner with a gin or a whiskey produced in one of our distilleries or in London or Scotland. And the trade between our countries is so deep that so many of our traditions are now depend on products imported from one another. And that's one of the reasons why Spain has a trade surplus of 10 billion euros a year with the United Kingdom. And of course, Minister, we would like to export more, and working with the Minister and his Department for International Trade, we very much hope we will. But we don't look upon trade with mercantilist spectacles. We in the United Kingdom believe fundamentally in the liberating power of trade, of its ability to increase competition, to drive up productivity and to increase wealth. And while we think that we need to work harder to ensure that those left behind by globalization are given the tools with which they too can reap its benefits, for us, the solution to people's disquiet with the pace or the effects of globalization is not to shut up shop, it's not to create new trade barriers, but to ensure that more people can benefit from the liberating power of trade, like the billions who have been raised out of poverty over the last 20 years across the world. And that's why the United Kingdom and Spain have been and will remain two of the strongest voices for increased trade and have worked so closely together and will continue to work so closely together under the new leadership of the new Spanish Trade Minister and Lord Price to push for stronger links with Canada, with the United States, with Japan and with Mercosur. And that's not simply because we think that the idea of trade is good. We believe in free trade because we see the results of freer trade. Exports from the UK and Spain to South Korea have more than doubled in just 4 years after that EU free trade agreement came into effect. That means more jobs, more wealth for both our countries. So as we prepare for the negotiations ahead on our exit from the European Union and for our future as an independent and sovereign nation, we'll be listening to you. British businesses here in Spain, Spanish businesses exporting to and investing in our country, about your concerns, your ideas. The UK has a long history of consulting with business and developing policy to reflect the needs of those affected by government decisions. And the Minister, as both a minister but also as a businessman of 35 years standing, can attest to that relationship. And we've already heard from many of you over the last few months, but we want this to be a continuing process. We want to hear your ideas, we want to understand your concerns about how we can ensure that our trade and investment relationship can continue to prosper in the years ahead, about how we can ensure that the UK is the easiest place in the world to establish and to grow a business, about how we can ensure that we marshal the ideas of the researchers of our great universities, 4 of which are among the top 10 in the world, to power the business innovations of the future. About how we can work with you to identify the skills you need to grow your businesses in the UK, and ensuring that our schools, our universities, our apprenticeships are providing you with those skills that you need. About the sort of transport infrastructure that you need, and which companies like Ferrovial are doing so much to improve. Britain isn't just open for business. It's listening to business. It's acting on the suggestions of business. And it's working with business to deliver the context in which you can succeed. That's the Britain I know, and it's the Britain I'm very proud to serve as Her Majesty's Ambassador to Spain. Thank you very much.